Okay, ladies. All right. I do not see that Angela is here, and I don't want to keep you guys much longer than we need to. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now, I apologize because you are just going to hear a lot of yapping from me. There's not any type of interaction tonight, but it's just kind of something where, I just kind of want to get it out on the table because I know that you guys are probably it's starting to probably creep into the back of your mind, especially now that we have a date. And so we can kind of learn about the processes and as always, any questions that you have, whether it's now or later, feel free to email me, call me, whatever it is. So our agenda for tonight is what we'll do is we'll review and kind of update our plan of study. Just a quick review of the dispositions, review of APA in-text citations and references, kind of some research expectations as we move out of your first year and into your second. I'll talk about the comprehensive exam process. We'll talk real briefly about the rubric and how it's connected to our program competencies. I'll give you an explanation very briefly of the next steps after comprehensive exams because we have to get you to those first and through those. And then we'll talk about our committee member expectations and the form that you're going to fill out for me with your member and members, and then we'll have time at the end if you have any questions. Okay, so I appreciate you sitting tight and listening to a lot of what I am going to say tonight. So to go ahead and start, looks like sorry you guys, I just shrunk my screen a little bit, so I got to get it a little bit bigger. So we're looking into year 2 now, and as you all know, you'll be taking Doc Seminar 3 with Dr. Linden, you'll have Advanced Stats with Dr. Rebecca Shively, and you'll have Leadership in Educational Organizations with Dr. Christy Hutchinson. Dr. Shively and Dr. Hutchinson are amazing. I know that you guys will adore both of them. They've both been with our program for quite a few years now. Dr. Shively is a statistician, so she really knows what she's talking about, and she gets really good reviews in her course evals in how she teaches the information, and it's very easy to understand. She's got lots of great videos. So, I think a lot of times we can be scared of advanced stats, but I don't think that you guys need to be scared. I'm not going to say that it is not going to challenge you because it will, but Dr. Shively is amazing, and she's very open to questions, and she gets back to you quickly. So she's a really, really great professor to have this course with. And then the same Hutchinson. I actually taught with Dr. Hutchinson at Peru State College here in Nebraska, and she was a lawyer prior to coming over to higher ed, so she has a ton of great experience, and she is another one who she will answer your questions quickly. She will work with you, an amazing woman. In spring 2, you get to have Dr. Hutchinson again for your leadership practicum, and we can talk more about the leadership practicum, and Dr. Hutchinson will talk about that in your class this fall. But this is a very exciting opportunity. We have had some really, really neat practicum experiences from our EDD folks in the past, and so she will want you to start thinking about that right from the onset of what you would like to do next spring. But please know that the practicum can be done where you work. It can be done somewhere else that you don't work also. But if there's like a project you've been thinking about for where you work and something that you've kind of wanted to start doing, but you just haven't been able to make the time or find the reason to do it, your practicum course is a great reason and a great time to do something like this. So it's very exciting, and I look forward to hearing what everybody decides to do. Now, dissertation readings. This one's a big one. Okay, I am not going to lie to you guys. This class is what is going to get you started on your dissertation. You will have an instructor who has been with us for, this will be her second time teaching it. Her name is Dr. Mary Zelani, and she's full-time at UNL in Lincoln, Nebraska. She is one of the most kind, caring people that I have ever met in my entire life, literally. And she loves writing. She is very passionate about writing, and she wants her students to be passionate. So I'm pretty sure she's going to help you fall in love, believe it or not, with writing a literature review because of how much she loves writing and her passion. This class will be 16 weeks or 14 weeks actually, because we give you a couple weeks to prepare for your comp exams. So next spring, really be in the mindset that the more progress you make in dissertation readings, the easier that research proposal 1 will be in summer. Okay, so it's very exciting times. And I should have said this first, you will take research proposal 1 once you pass your comprehensive examination. So you do have to do that first before you can go on. And then after summer 2, then you'll get into our third fall, which will be research proposal 2, which is where you write the methodology of your dissertation. Normally I teach that one, and so provided things stay as they are, I will teach that. And then after that, you'll be working on your dissertation and you'll be enrolled in the dissertation courses, where again, there's not a lot of work, but what we do is we try to keep you accountable for your work. So each goal setting short and long, or I'm sorry, each semester setting short and long-term goals. You will be responsible for posting on discussion board a few times, just so we can see where you're at. You can share your progress, you can share your challenges, you can share your frustrations with your peers, and you can just help each other through this time. So with our first cohort that just graduated in May, they did find it very helpful just to have that support system in place with their peers and a professor. Okay, so what I'll probably do, you guys, and I think I don't know if I said this or not, or I will, but if you have questions, maybe just kind of jot them down and you can save them for the end, or if you want to type them in the chat box, if it's a pretty immediate question, you can do that and then I'll try to answer it, or otherwise you can maybe type save for the end and then write your question down and then I'll come back and revisit them. So however we want to do it, whatever questions you have. All right, so that's our plan of study, kind of what's left. So congratulations getting through the first year and on to the second. Okay, and as a reminder, we have not had any trouble with dispositions, which has been wonderful, but I do want to remind you that we do ask, now that we are moving into our second year, we ask for continual demonstration of honesty, respect, following the established policies and procedures, while maintaining integrity. We ask you to definitely continue to invest the time and effort needed to engage in your intellectual pursuits here at College of St. Mary. We want you to understand the various dimensions of human diversity and commit to fairness and educational equity. We want you to please make sure that you respectfully communicate both verbally and non-verbally with faculty, program director, and peers, and any type of constructive feedback that you receive, that you try to receive that in a professional manner. We ask you to respectfully collaborate with others, and again, respond to that positive and constructive feedback in a professional manner. And then we just want you to assume responsibility for your learning by proactively seeking, processing, and generating information through a variety of scholarly sources. Now, kind of especially with that last one, that assuming responsibility for your learning, the classes that you will all move into, especially starting with your practicum and dissertation readings, we really will be asking you to kind of step out on your own a little bit. For now, your courses, you've had a lot of your professors have provided examples and samples and rubrics. Not that you're still not going to have rubrics, because you'll have those, but we've kind of been more of a supportive, this is what we need you to do. Well, you're going to be moving in a stage where we need you now to take the lead. When you think about where your practicum is going to be, I don't want Dr. Hutchinson to figure that out for you. I want you to bring ideas to Dr. Hutchinson, and I want you to discuss them with her. When it comes to working on your dissertation and thinking about what your literature review is going to be, granted, we have samples of dissertations located in the library, but really, ladies, this is about you. This is about where your passion lies. This is about making that mental map inside of your head of, hey, I really like this topic, but here's the 10 or 15 ways this could go. And then figuring of all these ways that it could go, what's most relevant to me? What's most relevant to the time in my professional work right now? What makes sense? What theory supports what I believe, what I'm writing about, and making those connections and being bigger than just a term paper or an assignment that you've done so far. So I really encourage you to assume that responsibility, get gutsy, get big, try new things, and of course, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to know that the professors that you have will give you feedback, and they will tell you that maybe it's not done to what they believe you can do, or APA needs to be fixed, or it needs to be more clear, or you need to use research and theory in a more profound way. Accept that and process it and generate something bigger and better, okay? So that kind of is a great segue, I think, into our research in APA. We have now spent a year trying to give, or we have been as faculty, giving feedback about proper APA in-text citation and reference pages. Ladies, this needs to not be a worry for your professors anymore. We have to get this stuff down. And I know this summer there were, for some people and just kind of overall, I know there was still concern about in-text citations and references for some, not all. But please, please, please use that APA book. And you need to check that information over, because in your dissertation and your chapters 1 through 3, your chair and your professors in Research Proposal 1 and dissertation readings and Research Proposal 2, they don't have time to check your APA. That's not what we need to be here for now. What we need to be here for now is to help you develop your ideas and to help you dig deeper in the theory. So please, please, please do your best to double check everything that you do when it comes to APA, okay? And then please remember that proper use of others' ideas, using the actual content to supplement your writing and your ideas, not just a quote because you need to have 7 sources. Use that information out there to and challenge that information, especially in your dissertation. As we move towards that, you're going to have to give the pros, you're going to have to give the cons, you're going to have to challenge, you're going to have to demonstrate ways in which you can improve theory that's already out there. So again, it's got to be that bigger picture. It's got to be kind of you taking ownership of your work and not depending on that scholarly research anymore out there to like you supporting it, but you need to turn it around and make that scholarly research support you and what it is that you're doing. So then that third bullet right there, the upcoming classes will require personal and big ideas. And just to remember, you may not have specific examples from now on. So really try your best to grasp that idea, contact your professors, talk to them about what your ideas are so that you are able to move forward kind of in a more confident way, knowing that you've got this, okay? With our self-plagiarism, now that you all have had chances to write quite a few papers through assignments and things, we are okay with you using your prior work. If you've done a really great paper and you have some quotes from yourself, or you have some ideas that you have put together in another class, we are totally okay for you to use those, but you have to make sure you cite yourself. And it's not something where you can, copy and paste 3 paragraphs. That would be way too much self-plagiarism. But we do welcome you to use your ideas and kind of use some of the thoughts that you have been producing over the last year. Begin to think about your comprehensive exams over break. I'm not going to ask you guys to really start thinking about them right now, but Christmas break, even though we all need a break, I totally realize that. Over break, start your bibliography. Just start putting together or copying and pasting resources that you think you will use and start putting your bibliography together. Check it against your APA book, because that will be something that will be a huge time saver the day you have your comprehensive exams. That then, no matter what source you use, then you just go to the document where you have your bibliography and you copy and paste what you need right into your comprehensive exams. So it helps you not only to get your sources in order, but it helps you to double check and make sure that your APA citation is accurate, because that is a part of your rubric, and that we do have a lot of committee members who are sticklers about that APA piece. So again, whatever you can do over break, whatever you can do this semester to kind of get yourself really in the mindset of using research truly appropriately, citing it, giving credit where credit is due, and then making sure that reference page is ready to go to. And then another thing, we are definitely to a point, and I think we have tried to push this since you've been here, but make sure those sources are scholarly. And I put the word accessible because we did have a couple issues with some DOIs over the summer. And those are the DOI is that link. It's supposed to be a link that we can always keep track of whatever resource we use. Well, we have found in some experiences with not only this cohort, but with another cohort also, that sometimes if you purchase an article, your DOI only takes you to the page where it shows that you can purchase it. So if you have articles that you maybe have in like a personal file or something like that, and you include the DOI, let your instructor know that, hey, I do have this article in my possession, but the DOI link is probably going to take you to where I bought it. Okay, so it's pretty simple. And then also remember too that we do need you to have the entire article. And I know sometimes it's easy to look at an abstract, even if it's through College of St. Mary's Library, and maybe like pull an idea or two from it and then cite the abstract. We really need you to have access to the full article. So just, make sure you guys, or ladies, as much as you can, that you're just ethical, and doing, everything right and in order, because we just want everybody to make good choices so that we don't run into any problems as we get further along in the program. Okay, so comprehensive examination. And actually, you know what? Let me just take a couple minutes, and that way it'll give me a chance to. Does anyone have any questions about the plan of study, dispositions, or the research in APA? Sure, Susan. Mm-hmm. You bet. Now, we probably don't want you to do it a lot in your dissertation, but definitely if like I know you guys are going to do, have you already done the concept analysis with Dr. Linden? Is that two or three? Is that doc two? Okay, I can't remember. But anyway, you guys are going to do a concept analysis with Dr. Linden at one point in time if you haven't done it already. And a lot of people will bring their concept analysis into the dissertation because likely it was what it's kind of been a dissertation idea that's been brewing, and so people will bring that over. So that would be something, Susan, that you would definitely be able to use, but you would want to cite your work from your previous course. Okay, perfect. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, hi, Jennifer. Okay. Mm-hmm. No. Okay, so it was that like an assignment, Jennifer, that you handed in? Oh, you did it for quant or which one did you do? Okay, you did it for quant. Okay. Oh, for qualitative. Okay. So, okay. That is a good question because we do want you I do want you to be able to use your work, and I think the dissertation will be a little bit more of an exception in that way. So, like for another class, I would not want you copying and pasting 3 or 4 pages because that assignment is a different assignment. But for your dissertation, we kind of look at that as we are kind of starting fresh. So you do bring up a very good point with the dissertation. The self plagiarism is probably not an issue because you are kind of starting from ground one. So thank you for bringing that up, and I don't think we have to worry about self plagiarism for dissertation, but please worry about it for comprehensive exams and the courses that you have left. So thank you. You bet. Okay. And just because I know it's already 9 o'clock, we got to keep on rolling. All right, so here we go. Comprehensive exams. Ladies, what I want to say to you right now, I love this quote by Henry Ford. Whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you are usually right. You need to believe that you can do this. That's just plain and simple. Like, don't be scared of these. I mean, I want you to be scared a little bit, but I don't want you to be terrified of them because here's the deal: your ability to pass these comprehensive exams with flying colors and doing a really great job reflects well on our program. Okay? So just know this: we want you to pass. We want you to do well because we want to know that the courses that you have taken and the fact that we connect all of our courses and all of our objectives to our program competencies and that our rubric is tied to our program competencies, we want to see that you have developed and that you have gained these knowledge and these skills and this understanding throughout your program. Okay, so first and foremost, I want you to believe that you can, and I think once you take that belief and you say, I will do the work that needs to be done to do this, your comprehensive exams will be okay. And they don't have to be as scary as I think they can appear to be. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is we're going to kind of go over the process using your comprehensive exam handbook or guidelines as our guide. And again, if you want to, I guess we don't have a I don't know, do we have a raise your hand emoji? I don't know if we have that little icon over there. If you want to do that, if you want to type a question, or if you want to just save your questions for the end, however, feel free to do it however you want. But I'll try to make sure that we answer everybody's questions as we move through the presentation. Okay. But again, believe in yourself and do the work that's necessary, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so here is our comprehensive exam process in a nutshell. All right, so fall 2, which is where we're at. What we're going to do is we're going to help you identify your doctoral committee chair and members. You are going to complete and submit the comprehensive exam intent form, which I will send out to you. And then you are going to contact and invite your doctoral committee chair and members to start this process with you. Okay, so these people will be a part of your comp exams, and then they will stick with you through your dissertation, hopefully. We do sometimes have faculty that drop out because maybe they've changed jobs or something, a personal issue has come up in their life or something like that. But for the most part, our doctoral committees stick with our students from comprehensive exams all the way through the end of their dissertation. Spring 2, you will complete EDL 823 and 869, so the practicum and dissertation readings. Then you'll have a couple weeks to prepare for your exams. You will complete the comprehensive exam online on the assigned date, and then your committee members will independently evaluate your exam. You need to achieve a minimum of 57 out of 76 in order to pass your exams. Then you will be contacted regarding the status of your exams, usually a pass or a revise within 2 weeks. If applicable, you may have to revise a question or, let's see here, EDL 823. Oh, should it be 879? It should be 879. Thank you, Patty. I'll have to make sure I fix that. So if applicable and you have to revise a question or more than that, and that has happened in the past, you will have 1 week to do that. And then that will come back again and your committee will look at it, and then we'll let you know what the results are. Your chair will recommend candidacy if you have passing rubric scores, and then the vice president of academic affairs will officially notify you of your candidacy, and then you'll be eligible to begin research proposal 1 and research proposal 2. Okay, so that is what our the comprehensive exam process looks like in a nutshell. So the first thing that I want to talk about, and if you will for me, it is on page 7 of your comprehensive exam guideline. Anytime you guys feel like starting to prepare for these, the sooner the better. Okay, you definitely do not want to wait until the end of the spring semester. If you find that, even this first couple weeks of class might be a little bit lighter, I would suggest maybe you start throwing some things together. Definitely over Christmas, start throwing some stuff together. Our rubrics are set up where you can see that, for example, I have the competency 1, which is facilitating learning. Okay, so you can see that yes, the comprehensive exam is an essay. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, Patty, and I'll tell you kind of what that will look like. You will see that each of the criteria of the rubric are connected to a program competency. Okay, so and over on page 9, you will see the program competencies. So this first one, when we are looking at your exam, we will want to know, did you address a variety of researched and or theoretical based teaching strategies that demonstrate attention to individual learners? So you can see that you're addressing competency 1.1, which is a variety of teaching strategies appropriate to learner needs, desired outcomes, content, and context. You're also doing 1.2, where you identify diverse learners and provide resources. You're also addressing 1.5, where, of course, because it's a written exam, and you're also addressing 1.7, where you demonstrate an interest in and a respect for learner, and number 8, that you maintain current professional practices needed to help learners prepare for work in one's profession. So, when you start to kind of when you're gathering resources and you're gathering ideas of how you could address a variety of research and theoretical based teaching strategies, go back into your courses. When you had teaching and learning theories or you had teaching and learning concepts, when we were in curriculum together, you wrote and you discussed and you talked about these strategies that you think would be really great for the classroom, okay? So find those resources, find those ideas that you use, start a notebook about these strategies that you could talk about in one of your essays. The same thing for addressing information technologies that support the teaching and learning process. Any type of research, article, scholarly article that you have found in the past about using technology to enhance learning, put that in a binder, get that in your bibliography, highlight information in there that you think you might be able to use to answer a question about learning. And the same thing then with demonstrates interest in and respect for learners, okay? So as you're preparing, I would highly suggest that you use the rubric and you use your program competencies to help you gather scholarly research, go back into your courses, find great ideas that you had, strategies, whatever it would be. Eventually, you're going to have to talk about assessment in the competency 2 on your rubric. So we're going to ask you about curriculum design. We're going to ask you about assessment and evaluation. So go back into your curriculum course stuff. I'm trying to think of where else we address. I know we addressed assessment in teaching and learning theories. You addressed it in adult learning theory when we talked about assessment for adult learners. So these things are all over your courses, and the more of this that you can gather and you can have organized and ready to go, the more prepared you will be to meet each of the assessment points on this rubric. And then as you can see, function as a change agent and leader. Since you guys will be having a wonderful class with Dr. Hutchison this semester, I would maybe even keep these on a sticky note right in front of you all semester long. And when you have your practicum with her, keep that sticky note. Whatever kind of research that she shares with you, whatever kind of research you find, whatever ideas, keep that organized, because we will ask you a question about being a change agent and leader. And so that will be a really good piece then to collect this information so that you can meet the criteria of competency 3. Then competency 4, which is where we it's engaging in scholarship. So that's that just demonstrating your skill in writing, the qualities of a scholar. So that's finding that scholarly work, using it effectively, using it to expand upon your ideas, to using it to be critical of an idea, whatever it is that you would do. And then there's that big piece that appropriate citations and references are used as well. And then your overall quality of your written exam, we have the grammar, the spelling, the organization, and then appropriate citations and references are used to support ideas. That's more of an overall in the engage in scholarship. APA and the critical part then is in the overall quality of your writing. Okay, So that is kind of, and then I can talk a little bit more about the rubric, why we have that open too. As you can see on the top, a 4 indicates that the student has exceeded the requirements. A 3 indicates the student has demonstrated the evaluation criteria. A 2 indicates that a student has somewhat demonstrated, and a 1 indicates that the student did not address or did not meet this evaluation criteria. So ladies, we need you to shoot for a 3 and 4 in all of these categories. Okay. If you receive below a 3 in any of these categories, it is likely there will be a question or questions that will need to be revisited. So when you are preparing, make sure that you have scholarly research and ideas to support every one of these pieces of your rubric, and as much as you can meet every one of the competencies in your of our program outcomes for the Doctor of Education program. So I will, if people do you have any questions, because that's kind of covering 2 things. It's kind of covering our rubric, but it also kind of highlights maybe a way to prepare a little bit. So I'll open the floor if we do have any questions about this part. Hi, Vernetta. Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. Okay. What we will do, and this will kind of answer Patty's question that she just posted about the essay. You are going to get 4 questions. And 2 of the questions we try to focus on you individually. So when I talk about you guys filling out this intent form, on the intent form, I will ask you, do you know what you're going to do for your dissertation, first of all? And then I will ask you, what are 2 other areas that you are very interested in your research? And then I take your background and we take what you do for your profession, maybe and even if that's maybe a little bit different than what your background is, we take those things into consideration, and then we create 2 of the questions focused on that. So you will have a question on facilitating learning, competency 1. You will have a question on curriculum design, assessment, and evaluation, competency 2. You will have a question about functioning as a change agent and leader, competency 3. And then competency 4, even though we call it engaging in scholarship, we will make that a research question. So qualitative, quantitative, mixed methods, research project, whatever it will be. And so again, 2 of them will be focused specifically on what you're interested in, and the 2 other ones will be more general. So I'll just take an example. Like, we may ask you a general question about what makes a good leader. That's not going to be a question, but I'm just trying to be a little bit vague, but still try to be specific. And so, tell me what a good leader looks like in your workplace, Vernetta. And then you would tell me what a good leader is. And as you're answering the question, you need to make sure that you are addressing the competencies from our program. So you will want to probably talk about current trends in education. And I'm just looking at the competency right now. You will want to talk about research-based and innovative strategies that a good leader at your work uses or might use. You would want to talk about how cultural, social, economic, political, or institutional forces influence that profession. Now, your question is not going to be that vague, okay? But I can't be real specific because then I would give question or questions away. But it will be a little bit more focused, but those are the things that's how you will use the program competencies to answer the question. So does that,
Yes, that does help.
okay.
I was also confused by the 1.1 and 1.2 to 1.1.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is that? So I was looking at
Yes, though, so those numbers on the rubric, those are your program competencies. See the 1.1 under competency 1, facilitate learning?
yes.
Okay, so those numbers match your program competencies.
Oh, I got it. Page 9, 10.
Yes, connect
Oh,
with
I tell
page
you.
7.
Thank you.
Okay,
I got
sure.
it. Thank you.
You bet, you bet. And ladies, Vernetta made me think of something else too. Feel free to Google comprehensive exam questions, because that's a great way to kind of start to see what comprehensive exam questions look like. Now, of course, they're not going to be exactly the same, but it will give you an idea or an understanding of sometimes they can seem pretty big, but then what you need to do is you need to look at them and you need to figure out, okay, how am I going to focus this? It may be asking me, like, what is a good leader? And so maybe I'm going to talk about the personal and professional traits of a good leader. Okay, I'm going to talk about those two things. But within personal and professional, I am going to be able to talk about quite a bit of information, but I've honed that question in. And some of your comp exam questions will have multiple questions. And that's just so we make sure that you're kind of guided in the right path. But that would definitely be something that I would do if I were you. Amina said, how lengthy an answer should ideally be? Would there be any page limits? We do not right now have any type of page limit or page minimum. My deal is I want you to go for quality, not necessarily quantity. But the thing is you will have from 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you will have to answer all 4 questions, have each one of them done as effectively as possible, and have your references and everything ready to go. So, whether one question is 3 to 4 pages and maybe another one is 7, it could be. Maybe you are able to just spew out information on one of your questions and you've gotten to 7 pages in the same time that it took you to get to 4 for your 4th question. So we just can't, I can't answer that question. And as far as the time, you guys will have to figure that out when those questions are in front of you. If you want to, if you're a kind of person that says, I'm going to dedicate, so what do we have? So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 7 hours. Let's say you block off an hour for proofreading, APA, eating, going to the bathroom, whatever. So what did I just say? 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. I said 7 hours. So you just know right away, I'm going to need an hour to finish things up and do all that stuff. You have 6 hours. You have 4 questions. So, maybe you say, I'm going to spend an hour and a half on each question, or you look at your questions and you see that, okay, I could take care of that question in an hour. And maybe that will allow me 2 hours for this question right here that is scaring the heebie jeebies out of me. Whatever it is that you decide to do. But as far as the time allocation, I can't really tell you because I don't necessarily know how you work, what questions are going to be easier as opposed to which questions will be more complicated. Christina, you are not proctored. We ask that you are ethical, because you are allowed to use any of your resources, open textbooks, any scholarly sources. We have you will turn your exam in through turnitin.com. So we can definitely figure out if there is any plagiarism through there. But the only thing that we really truly ask you to not do is talk to your peers. And to be honest with you, you are not going to want to talk to anybody that day. You are going to want to shut yourself in a room and nothing. So for the most part, we have not had anybody, I believe, that has ever even tried to cheat, that we would need a proctor. So it's a great question. But no, you're on your own. And we trust that you will be ethical.
Question about the questions. Is it reasonable to expect that one of the questions might be something like write a course or write an assessment for a particular course, or you pick a topic for the course and you write it and then write an assessment, something like that?
Absolutely.
Just to get input,
Mm-hmm.
production there.
You betcha. And Susan, that's why I say Google comprehensive exam questions. Because if you even Googled comprehensive exam question about curriculum, you will start to kind of see a pattern, of what these questions look like. And absolutely, then you can start kind of jotting down notes like, hey, what if I'm asked to design a course? Maybe you can start jotting that information down and at least have some kind of skeleton that then on the day, if you are asked to do something similar to that, you have some ideas already. So that's a great question and a great strategy to help prepare. Okay, all right. And we'll come back and you can ask me questions anytime you want. Okay, but you know what? Hold on a minute. I want to go back. I want to go back through the document just a little bit more. Okay, so all right. So ladies, let's go to page. Where's my? I think I want to go to page. Okay, let's go to page 3, please. Okay, so some of this, like I said, I talked about in our brief calendar, like our brief comprehensive exam process. So that looks like that's page 2. Or did I? Okay, and we're going to talk about the doctoral committee. Okay, so never mind. Maybe we're okay right now, and we don't need to look, because I know you guys can also read, so I don't think I need to read through it with you. But I think number 4 on page 3, that kind of talks about like the resources, answering the questions, APA. And definitely, if personal or previous work is used in your comp exams, you need to cite that so we don't have self-plagiarism. And remember that the final document will be submitted to Turnitin, so it will likely have your past work in there. So that's why you have to be really careful that you can't copy paragraph after paragraph, because they will have that in the database. So please, no matter how desperate you feel or how short on time you are, please do not copy your work or anyone else's work verbatim without citing it. And even then, the most should be a block quote, and that's about as long as it should be, and that's 40 words. Okay, so just be real careful with that. And then, like I said, your final document will be submitted through Turnitin. You'll come in, and on the day that we take the exam, you'll come into the professional learning community. And I'll give you guys all these directions as we get closer. But then what's going to happen is you're each going to have an individual assignment link. And on that assignment link will be your 4 questions. And then you will take those 4 questions and you'll start writing them. And then when you submit through that assignment link, then it will go through turnitin.com like your assignments have throughout the program. Then you will also send a copy to your dissertation chair, and then your chair will disseminate it to the members of your committee. But again, all that kind of finite detail stuff, you will have very clear directions on how to do that the day of the exam. So right now it's more about kind of like preparation and getting ready for it, not so much the process. And then point number 5, we talked about kind of your grade and what happens if you have to rewrite. And then your recommendation and your candidacy. So yeah, I basically have talked about all of that so far. So what we'll be able to do, which is connected to Amina's identifying the members. Okay, Amina, using purchased articles as sources for the comprehensive exam. Yes, but I think we need to note that somewhere, whether it's in whether it's in the Dropbox or whatever it is, because again, with that DOI number, if it starts to go to those pages where it doesn't really look like you have access, but we don't know if they're purchased or not, that's when it can get a little murky. So absolutely we want you to use them, but maybe just make a note when you submit that day that you do have purchased articles that you used, and if if they want proof of it, whatever, it's there. Okay, so good question. And then, are the grades of the comps are committees, so everyone will have different people grading? Yes. You will all, so we'll talk about the committee members in a minute. Jen, what's your question?
Just really quick, when we turn it in,
Uh-huh. Sure. Yes, I will. You bet. And what I will do, and this is where when I said, you chunk that last hour off as time to write, because this would be a really good time for that. So I will have it set up where you can submit it multiple times. So that if you do submit it the first time and you do get some pretty nasty news that like, uh-oh, I completely missed something, absolutely go back, fix those things, resubmit it to turn it in, and make sure, but then of course make sure that only your final paper is the one that you submit to your dissertation chair. Does that make sense? Like, don't send them one copy and then figure out, oh no, I messed up, now I'm gonna have to send you another one. Wait until you are 100% ready, you've done all you need to do with turn it in, and then send that copy to your chair. Perfect. Amina, I think it would be okay to submit the articles along with the exam. They'll really just come to me, but I will let your dissertation chair, if I am not your chair, I will let your chair know that that you've done that. Absolutely. You guys are asking great questions, and I hope this is making you feel better. Can you give me a little, you see that little face, that little status icon we have there? Show me how we feel right now. Are you happy? Are you neutral? Are you sad? Are you confused? Are you away? Are you not even paying attention to me? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Oh, look at that. I love those little happy faces. Okay, that's pretty good news, ladies. That is lovely. Thank you very much. Okay, all right, so we've got a couple questions about the dissertation committee. So let's talk about, okay, this is after passing exams. I don't know why I have this right here. This needed to be the last thing we did. But anyway, so let's talk about committee members, and then I'll come back to that last one. Okay, so what we are going to do is Dr. Linden and I, for the most part, are going to be the ones that help you identify who your doctoral committee chair and one of your members will be. And the reason we have to do this is because unfortunately, you guys don't know enough of our faculty to say, I want this person and this person and this person. And then what makes it even more complicated is that there's 10 of you, not to mention the people who already have committee members. So Dr. Linden and I have to be very strategic in this. So so we will do this together, and a lot of it will, and at least 2 of the members will be probably suggested by Dr. Linden and I, unless you have a really, really strong preference, and then you can let me know and we'll see how we can finagle it. But what happens is your committee includes your chair and 2 committee members. The chair and one of your committee members must be associated with College of St. Mary. So it has to be faculty, staff, and or former EDD graduates that I and Dr. Linden trust, and that any of these people that we use, they have to have an earned doctorate. You, ladies, are responsible for the 3rd member. And with as big as our program is getting, in the past, I have had people come to me and say, I can't find a 3rd person. I can't, unfortunately, I am not able to find a 3rd member for you, because we are going to be tapping every resource that we have on our end right now. So I need you to find a 3rd member. And when you think about who you would like to ask, the most important thing is they have to have an earned doctorate. Okay. And secondly, and probably just as important, is we would love it if they would have expertise in either the area you're studying or the type of research that you're going to do. So qualitative, quantitative, mixed methods. Maybe you have somebody that you know or that you work with that is really good at stats, and you're going to do a quantitative research, or you're going to do a quantitative dissertation. You can find someone like that. Most times I would say the 3rd member that our cohort people in the past have asked are more in their area of research and expertise. So I'm going to send you this form, which you will then fill out. And this isn't going to be immediately, okay? Because Dr. Linden and we have to have a chance to kind of start talking about this as well. So I would kind of look for this to come kind of maybe like the first 1/3 of the semester to the first half of the semester. So then what you'll do is you will submit the information on this 3rd individual, and then I will need to see their vita, and then I will need to approve that this person will work for your committee. And really, it's not like I'm approving, I'm not that important or anything, but I just kind of need to sign off that says, okay, this person has an earned doctorate. It looks like they know what they're doing based on their profession, their educational experiences, their background, and that they would be a good person to have on your committee, okay? With that 3rd person, you cannot select someone with whom you have a reporting relationship. Okay, so nobody that evaluates you, your boss, whatever it would be. So then once you decide on this person, and Dr. Linden and I will help you with the first 2, then we'll submit the comprehensive exam form, and then I will send you kind of a canned letter that you will send to your committee chair and your members. It kind of tells them about the process of what they will be doing if they agree to be on your committee, and then you'll send those out and introduce yourself, ask the question, and then of course you'll let me know that these committee members have said yes, and then I will follow up then with more of a detailed letter, especially to your chair and the committee members as well. Plus, I will send everyone the comprehensive exam guidelines, and then eventually I'll send them the dissertation guidelines as well. And then you know when our comprehensive exam is, and I can't even remember when it is right now. So I know we're in May, right? What did we say? Is it the last part of May? Anybody know off the top of their head when I set that up? 28th? Nope, that's Memorial Day. Oh, are we May 6th? Well, that's a Sunday. Am I? Am I in two? I'm in. Oh, because I need to be in 2019. That might help. That might help. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. May 6th. Now that is a Monday. Perfect. Yes. Monday, May 6th. Oh, thanks, Patty. Thank you guys. So yes. So you guys know that date and we'll, work on everything. What amount of time should we tell the potential third member of our committee to expect? That, Patty, that will be in my letter. Really, in the beginning, their responsibility is to grade your comprehensive exams, which, really you can do that in a sitting or two. And then they will be asked, when you guys put together your research proposal for your research proposal meeting, which is chapters 1, 2, and 3, they will be asked to read that and review that. They will be asked to attend your research proposal meeting, which it can either be face-to-face or online, depending upon where you're located. So if you're here in Omaha or close, we can always have a face-to-face meeting, but anybody who's outside of Omaha, we do everything virtually. And then you will work on your dissertation with your committee chair, maybe asking for feedback here and there from your two committee members, but probably not likely. Then when your dissertation is ready, they will receive your dissertation. They will have 2 weeks to read it, and then they come together for your dissertation defense. So all in all, I could probably figure out the hours, but it's not a lot, especially compared to your dissertation chair. Your chair is going to put in a lot of hours for you. And again, this will all be in the note, but we do pay. Unfortunately, our pay is pretty small. We pay your dissertation chair $250 for the comprehensive exam and the research proposal meeting. Okay, so those two things, and then we pay them $250 for your dissertation and your dissertation defense. We pay the members $100 for that, for your comprehensive exam and your research proposal, and then we pay them $100 for the dissertation process. But again, all that'll be in the letter, that canned letter that I give you to send out to them. Kristen asked, do they need to be local? Absolutely not. No one ever has to come to campus. But Kristen, I know you're kind of local. So like if you found somebody at Peru that you thought would be really good on your committee and the two of you wanted to come up so that you could do this face to face, you're more than welcome. Amina, if I am unable to find a third member, can I be facilitated in finding one? Yes, and I understand that there may be some cases where people don't, and of course I'm never going to leave anyone hanging, but I just really, based on our numbers, I just really need you guys to look hard for something to help us. And oh, Jennifer, you have hit that one on the head. I'm terrified with that, and I have no idea right now what I'm going to do. I have started problem solving a little bit and trying to think about, well, first of all, I'm hoping all 10 of you will be done in a year. So let's just put that down, that I need all 10 of you to be done in a year, because I'm going to need all your people. But yeah, it's going to be a challenge, because we don't even have 29 faculty at College of St. Mary that could chair. So I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, but it's all exciting, right? The program's growing. So yeah, so hopefully, does that help with the committee members? And you guys, I promise I will not, I find myself to be a pretty detailed person. So I have lots more information through emails that is going to come your way. This is definitely not going to be a one and done thing. You know me, I talk a lot and I type a lot and I will post a lot on the professional learning community. I will send emails and I will resend emails and I will resend information and I will re-say things probably 150 times. So you're definitely not walking away from here and you're on your own. I promise you that I will help you all the way to the end. And Amina, thank you very much. I'm very happy too. Terrified, but I'm happy. Okay, so real quick, and you guys, I know you can read this, but this is just the process for after passing the exam, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit, that you'll be able to start working on chapters 1 through 3, and then you'll do your research proposal to your committee. Once you're approved for that, you will submit your IRB application and the materials for approval. And of course, I'm sure most of you know IRB approval has to be obtained prior to gathering data. So whatever you do, if you have this great idea, don't start gathering data, because anything you would gather before you're approved isn't going to mean anything. So if you have an idea in your head, that's totally okay, but don't start gathering data. Then once your IRB is submitted, you'll register for dissertation, 3 to 6 hours per semester. You know, if it takes you 2, great. If you need to go into 3, that's great. If you need to go into 4, I need your committee members. So let's try to keep it to 3. No, I'm just kidding. If you need 4, you can do 4. And then in that time, you'll be working on gathering your data, analyzing your data, and writing chapters 4 and 5. You'll edit your dissertation. You'll have an outside reader proof the dissertation. You'll submit it, and you'll complete any of the requested edits. And then it'll go out to your committee, and then you'll have your defense, and then you'll finalize and post it, and then you'll graduate. So I know it seems like a long ways away, but it'll be here soon. So it'll be pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Okay, so here we are at the end. Bless your hearts. I've had you now for an hour and 12 minutes. Do we have any other last minute questions about the process right now or procedures?
A slide that you were going to go back to that you said should be at the end.
Oh yeah, that was
That one.
that was the this one right here, after passing your exams. I should have it at the end. I'm not quite sure why I don't. Okay, no questions. All right, Vernetta, get those kiddos to bed. Good to see you again. Okay, ladies. Yeah, and feel free. If no questions, you guys are good to go. And good luck with your classes this fall. Let me know. Yeah, and Amina, she has to go to work. Let me know, just good luck with your classes. I think you really will love Dr. Shively and Dr. Hutchison, and it'll be a good semester. So enjoy the rest of your break, and classes start on Sunday.
Priestman, I was really wondering if her graduation.
Sure. Well, it would all depend, Susan, on I'm going to go back to the slide real quick because I can't, sometimes I forget what our process is in the year. Okay, so we're talking 2018, 2019, 2019, 2019, 2020. So, right, we're talking 2020? For you guys? Yes. So the earliest you would be able to graduate would be the summer of 2020. Now, we do have a December graduation, so you could walk in December if you wanted to, and you can always wait until the next May if you would want to. And it really is, I know that kind of seems like a burden, like you're like, well, why do you have us graduating in the summer? But but what this really does is it does allow for that third semester if you need it without a lot of stress. If we had you supposed to be done in May and then you realize, crud, I'm going to need that third semester, then it would automatically be December. So, I would say you can always graduate and have your degree in the summer and then walk in December. Or
When you say summer, do you mean May or do you mean August?
no, it would be August.
Okay, so we can technically graduate in August, but the ceremony is in December.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yes. And Jennifer, do we get to buy? Absolutely, you get to buy fancy robes for graduation. Our CSM colors are blue and gold and white. So, and you can always rent the regalia, and then it's not near as fancy. But if you purchase your own, and if you have a job where you like, if you guys have jobs where you will work in like higher ed, I definitely recommend buying your own regalia because yeah, okay, there you go. So you wear it 3 times a year. You definitely want to buy your own because renting is expensive now. It used to be like $75 and now I swear it's over 100, maybe 150 for like rental. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I bought my own a couple years ago. But good question and fun question to think about.
My question is specific to me because I'm in transition.
Okay, Patty.
So I noticed that it's certain apprentices
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm. Once you pass your comprehensive exams, you can use that. Yeah. Because that what that tells people is that you are in the candidacy phase, which means all you have left is your dissertation. So
good to
yeah,
know.
that is kind of nice. That is nice to know and nice to have when if you are someone who will be looking for positions in high or well, actually any position, I think, that's helpful.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like saying your ABD after you pass
Yeah.
exams?
Uh-huh. But you do not want to be ABD. We like the EBD slash or parentheses C better. Too many people walk away ABD. Okay, bye, Amina. Have a great day. Okay, good night, Susan.
Bye bye.
Bye, Vernetta.
Bye.
Bye, Kelsey.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Patty. Good night.